No one talks about the amount of shame and guilt that comes along with ending a really long relationship, especially in a codependent dynamic where it's really hard to distinguish where one person ends and another person begins. When you don't like the other person, it kind of starts to feel like you don't like yourself. And shame tells us, I'm bad. I'm not good enough. And there's all kinds of ways in ways this shows up. I remember thinking, what's wrong with me? And it's like when you're trying to people please or make somebody else happy, if you can't do that, it's like, oh, I'm bad because I can't make them happy. I'm just not good enough. But there's a lot of ways in which shame kind of enters the picture around a breakup. You feel bad for the relationship itself ending. Society tells us that relationships are better than being single. So you have this like, I'm bad if I'm single kind of thing going on. But then you also have this like guilt about the failed relationship. Like, if the relationship fails, that somehow means that you are a bad person and you're not. And there's a lot of ways that shame enters the picture, and I just kind of want to talk about shame. Um, I think that emotions are really truthful. I think that my emotional body is like the most trustworthy thing, or most trustworthy guidance tool that I have. But um, I have to know how to use the tool. I've learned over the years that shame shows me where there's a lack of two things. Shame shows me there's a lack of love and a lack of accountability, but it doesn't show me where that lack is. Sometimes it's I'm missing accountability because I actually did something that's wrong or not in alignment with my values, or it's showing me that I have a lack of love, that I need to love somebody else more or love myself more, or I have shame. But it could also be that the other person is lacking accountability or lacking love. I know for me growing up with a woman, my stepmother, who was just, she's probably very narcissistic. Narcissist is probably the right word for it. The phrase shame on you was something that I heard often growing up. And I heard it most whenever I was bringing up, hey, this hurt my feelings, or hey, I don't want to do this, or hey, any kind of like self advocacy was met with shame on you. So that's kind of the backdrop to the story that's happening right now. Um, but continuing with shame being a lack of accountability and a lack of love, I also just want to talk about that. I wrote this song once, and there was a line in it that said, I don't believe in darkness, only places that light hasn't touched yet. And I want us, I want myself, and the fact that I'm talking to you guys and helping you guys go through this, it feels so cool and so inspiring. So if there's something that I can offer, it's this. And that is that it was really helpful for me to deal with shame by not looking at it as something inherently bad. There's like this badness, and that's not how it works. It's there's this lack of, there's this opportunity for light and love, this opportunity for accountability and love, and I think that's really really helpful. Um, we're going to talk more about shame and narcissism throughout this series, and I think I think narcissism, I think the root of narcissism is shame. And it's kind of like this part of humanity that doesn't make sense to me. And we can get a little existential here if you just bear with me. I kind of see that as this like black hole where there's like this everything and nothing aspect. It's kind of like dividing by zero. Um, this narcissist has this like flip where it's like their shame shows them they're so unable to deal with it that they reflect back. It's this like uh, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's chaotic. It's chaos. And in the story, I'm about to enter a very chaotic state. Um, and I guess I just would love, if there's anything that I can offer, it's that you're allowed to be your own light. You're allowed to love yourself. You're allowed to hold yourself accountable, and you're allowed to love other people and hold them accountable. And yeah, I guess I just want everyone in this story, everyone to know that as I'm telling this story, I'm telling it from a place of love and accountability. And there are things that I'm very embarrassed about, but I'm releasing myself of the shame from this story because I held this shame for too long. Um, and yeah, I think that's all I have to offer in this video. If you want me to do more of these, let me know. I love you. And if you're going through a breakup right now, I promise there is light at the end of the tunnel.